describe the different exercises that are, in your mind, the key exercises. What are the handful that would probably benefit most people?
Right to mind jumps, and I make the most videos on these, is we've already covered the sledding, and then...
Or the backwards treadmill, which sounds great.
Yeah, sled or resisted treadmill. And there are other brands of resisted treadmills, gym models that are $5,000, $10,000. I was just trying to make a cheaper one for home use. But again, where's the resistance is from under your foot. Like the resistance is the ground itself rather than bearing down on you. So to me, that category of exercise, huge, where you're resisting from the ground with sled or resisted treadmill. To me, that's number one. And then to me, number two is, for lack of a better term, stretch strength. So the bulk of the quote unquote weightlifting I do, if someone looked at it, it would be like, is that a strength exercise? Yeah. Is he stretching right now? Yeah. I'm stretching and strengthening
at the
exact same time.
Yeah.
And so a classic one is a split squat, but where your front leg is going all the way down, like a deep squat on the front leg.
So when you say squat, I think of feet together,
yeah,
butt going down. It's not that. It's more like a lunge.
It's like a lunge, but where your front leg is all the way down deep. Your front leg,
where your front knee goes as far forward as it can.
Yep, and your butt drops. So the front leg is in a deep squat, and the back leg is stretching, like you feel the front of your hip muscle stretching.
So the back knee doesn't go down to the ground.
Exactly, doesn't touch.
Right, so the front of the leg, the front of the back leg stretches.
Yep, that's right.
While the front leg is knees over toes.
Yeah.
And your butt gets as close to that front foot as possible, I assume.
Yep, that's right. And the average person is not going to be able to do that standing on the ground. That's a good goal to get to. Like for my mom, she's 70, she's worked her way to where she can do that. And now it's like, Mom, maintain that the rest of your life. And you're like way ahead of the game. But the more you elevate the front foot, the easier it gets to do the exercise. And then you can put stuff near you for assistance. So you have, with this exercise, which like you were saying, you could call it a deep lunge.
Yeah.
It's a deep lunge in place. Like you're not a walking lunge, you're staying in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
The front leg, you're going as deep as you can. The back leg, you're stretching as much as you can. And then you could have assistance. You could do like less than your body's weight.
Mm-hmm.
And you can elevate the front foot, which requires less flexibility. The lower you go requires more flexibility. And then you could remove the assistance, so you're doing your own body weight, and you could even add weight. So for me, I use about 45 pounds in each hand, flat on the ground, no apparatus needed, and just drop down into this deep lunge. But I had to start with my front foot elevated, assisting myself to balance. My mom had to start that way. So my goal is doing it weighted. My mom's goal is just maintaining her body weight. Mm-hmm. My wife is a figure skater, so she actually then elevates her back foot for even more stretch, because she has to go around on the ice holding up a leg in a splits. I can do a splits. She has to be able to do it like beyond splits.
Yeah.
At least for her figure skating goals.
Yes.
It's not a one size fits all kind of thing. It has many different levels and different ways people could do it. But that was the one, after the idea of strengthening from the ground up with sled or resisted treadmill, this idea of stretch strength, strengthening my muscles through full ranges of motion, stretching, strengthening at the same time, that had the most powerful effects to then keep me off painkillers. So like, I've never gone back. I haven't 10 plus years without a setback, and that's without question is the biggest reason why.
Amazing. So split squats is a good one.
Yeah, and we just call it ATG, split squat.
What does ATG mean?
ATG has always been the term for ass to grass, meaning like a deep squat. So it's like, do you squat to 90 degrees, or do you squat ass to grass? And so in trying to give it a name that people would understand,
yes,
just called it. And then a split squat refers to a lunge where you're in place.
Yes.
A lunge typically refers like you're moving, you're covering distance, whereas a split squat is just an in-place lunge. So an ATG split squat is then an ass to grass split squat.
On the front foot, is it okay if the heel comes off the ground?
Totally fine.
Doesn't matter?
So like if someone were to squat down right now and keep their heels down,
yes,
there's going to be more pressure in the back, and that's fine. Like there's different exercises you can do to build the back. If you think about a power lifter squatting 1,000 pounds, the heels are down. They're not like up on their tippy toes. The heels are down, and more weight shifts to the back. But then as you lift your heels, maybe you think about like a dancer doing some deep move where the knees are way over the toes and the heels are lifted. The back is no longer the limiting factor. The legs and the knees are the limiting factor. So in any squat, whether a split squat or regular squat, there's no good or bad. It's just different context. The more the heels are down, the more you're going to be training the hips. And then the more the heel is up, the more the load is going to go to the knee. So some people find different comfort of what they like. Some people mix it up. I mix it up. I do both. So heel up, more knee, heel down, more hip.